Hey, welcome to Cow Free Kicks. This is the Nike Air Max Terrascape. Really looking forward to getting into this review of the Nike Air Max Terrascape 90s, but before I do, just a quick reminder that I always look into 5 main things when I review a pair of sneakers. Then at the end of the video, I will give these Nike Air Max 90 Terrascapes an overall rating out of 5 stars. As always, if you do like what you see and you want to show some support, please do not forget to click the little thumbs up like button below on your device. And if you haven't already, please do take time to subscribe to the channel. Right, let's kick this review off by checking these out on feet. Absolutely iconic sneaker silhouette. The Air Max 90 has been around now for over 30 years and they just look so good. This version for me just absolutely kills it looks wise. I couldn't improve anything with the looks of this shoe at all. I just think on feet they look absolutely amazing, and also in hand. And even better, this Terrascape version of the Air Max 90s is actually part of Nike's Move to Zero initiative. So at least 20% of the materials that are used in the making of this shoe are recycled. Starting with the upper of the sneaker, you've got this ripstop fabric that you can see here. Ripstop, if you're not aware, is a fabric that if a small rip or tear occurs in one of the squares, it shouldn't continue throughout the rest of the shoe. It should stop effectively within that small square. So they're going to be hard wearing and have good durability because that fabric runs throughout the shoe. Then you've got more synthetic materials laden on the upper. You've got a rubberized swoosh with this one here. As you move towards the heel, you've actually got some exposed crater foam that's really squishy, and you can see the different colors there that make up the recycled element of this heel tab. You've got the little tab that just comes in there. As you move towards the tongue of the sneaker, you've got some Terrascape branding with a little bit of a Nike swoosh that you can see just hidden underneath the laces there. Inside you get the Move to Zero campaign. You get a really nice coloured insole with these that kind of matches the colour that you get with this crater foam midsole that you can see underneath this gummy cupsole. Now I've called it a cupsole because the gummy cupsole actually runs from the sides of the midsole and then cups the whole of this midsole unit and runs along the bottom of the shoe, and then on top of that you've got this Nike grind recycled rubber outsole. You can see a part of the gummy cupsole just there towards the heel. The other part of the shoe obviously is the iconic Air Max bubble that you get encased in this crater foam, which is made out of recycled materials. The upper of the shoe for me just absolutely kills it. I would not improve this in any way. Currently comes in 4 different colorways and I think every single one looks absolutely incredible. Now I want to move on to their comfort, where I want to put this crater foam Air Max midsole to the test on my back doorstep. Let's start with a positive for this midsole unit. I love the fact that they've embossed the words crater foam into the heel in like this fault green. First time I've seen that on a pair of Nikes that use the crater foam technology, and I think it's a really nice touch. But sadly, that's where the positives end for me, with the comfort that's offered by this crater foam air bubble combo midsole, because they've used this hardened gum technology to create a more durable and hard-wearing outsole. It completely encapsulates the crater foam mid and the air bubble. So you can see here that it runs completely underneath the shoe as well as cupping the sides. On top of that, you've got this outsole which is made out of Nike grind rubber. It's incredibly compact. All the little components really squished together to make this very hardened rubber, which for me is harder than the standard rubber that you get on a pair of Air Max 90s. Now add that together with this extra gum that's been completely cupped over the top of the midsole. They've created too many barriers for this comfort to hit the bottom of your foot and the ground, and they've made them incredibly rigid. When I was walking along with these, I was just clopping in them, just clop, 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 with no comfort underfoot, unfortunately. Incredibly unsatisfactory for me, comfort-wise. And then you go to the top of the feet. Now, yes, you've got some really nice padding around the heel and inside the shoe, and this really well padded tongue. But this padded tongue is very thick, and it continues to be that thick as it hits the bottom here, just on the toe box. And this part of the shoe where you see the stitching is where the top of your toes fit and the shoe creases and bends. As it bends, this thick tongue that you can feel, it's almost like half a centimetre thick in there, hits the top of your toes as you're walking along, and it just made them feel really uncomfortable. As I took the shoe off, I actually had sore feet on the top of my toes. Now, fit-wise, these come in, for me, an absolutely perfect true fit. But I would say that if you did want them to feel a little bit looser, I would definitely go half a size up. I've got slightly wider than average feet, but they still felt quite comfortable for me. But I don't know whether going half a size up would eliminate the issue that I found with the tongue, but maybe it will. Now I want to move on to their weight, where I'm going to pop them on the scales. Ooh, coming in at over 440 grams. These are a heavyweight shoe. I can feel how heavy they are in hand. What you've got to take into account is the fact that this shoe has got a lot of materials on the upper. There is layer after layer after layer, and they're not thin materials. This is a very thick ripstop fabric. These are quite heavy duty synthetic materials on the top with the rubberized swoosh. Then you've got this cupsole that runs throughout it. That's definitely going to add additional weight. They're too heavy for me. I just think that they could have reduced the amount of materials they'd used to make a more lighter and airier shoe, which is what they've claimed they are on the Nike app and website. But for me, they're not lightweight. Now let's move on to the breathability to see how airy they are as well. Nothing escaped from the materials of this toe box or the sides of your feet. The only part the smoke escaped from was the lace loop holes and the bottom part of the shoe here, where the tongue kind of connects with the lace loops on the side. It left some gaps there, so the smoke flew out of there, but you can see no smoke escaped from this ripstop fabric upper, and especially with the amount of overlays that are on top of that, these are going to be a shoe that aren't going to keep your feet airy and light like Nike have said. It's going to be a shoe that's going to be heavy and definitely make your feet hot and sweaty. Now, here in UK, we're moving into the spring. Would I buy this shoe now? No. Would I buy this shoe in the autumn? Most likely. It's just the wrong time of year for me for this shoe to come out. So do bear that in mind if you are going to wear these in hot and humid conditions. These are going to be keeping your feet very warm. Now I want to move on to their price. Now these set me back £135, which is about the price I'd expect to pay for a pair of Air Max 90s. Is it a bit too much? Yeah, I think they've added an extra tenner on there. I would have preferred to see these at around the 125, 120 mark. I think 135 is pushing it a little bit for this shoe, which is going to move me on to my overall score for this pair of shoes. Now, it pains me to do this because I think they look so good. But unfortunately, in every other element, I mean, I've got to think about this practically. I can't just go with looks. A lot of sneakers, a lot of people say, yeah, it's about how the sneaker looks. But for me, on a practical side of things, if I want to wear these every day, I can only give them 2 stars. And it's horrible to do that. I just think if you're spending £135 on a pair of sneakers, you want them to look good, yes, but you at least want them to offer you some comfort. And I just found these, comfort-wise, it just completely drained the love I had looks-wise for them, because when I took them off, I had sore feet and I felt nothing from them underneath. So overall, it's really the comfort that's killed these and given them 2 stars. Then you have the fact that they're too heavy, and then you have the fact that you have absolutely zero breathability. I just think 2 stars is all I could give these, unfortunately. And it's really sad because I absolutely love the way they look. Now, if you've liked what you've seen today, please do not forget to give the video a little thumbs up like before you go. You can also follow me on Instagram. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.